All right, time once again for another edition of Riding Shotgun with Tommy Mack. I'm your host, Tom McManus, back in the beautiful showroom at Fields Cadillac right here at I-295 and Blanding Boulevard. And in front of this beast, a magnificent vehicle, the CT5V Blackwing. That's right here on the Cadillac. They're going to let me test drive this car tonight with an awesome guest. He's Jacksonville native. He went to JU. He played for the Mets, played in Major League Baseball. He's an all-star. He's an NLCS MVP. He's a great guy, great family guy, and I'm honored to have him on the show. Let's welcome in Mr. Daniel Murphy. Murph, how are you,
Tommy,
my man?
how you doing?
Good to see you. Thanks for being
Cheers,
here.
thanks for having me.
I appreciate that. Look at this car, man.
I don't know where we're going, but we're going to beat them in a race.
We are, in case anybody pulls up.
Yeah.
You okay with that? You signed the waiver?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, you ready for a drive?
Yeah, I got shotgun.
All right, let's do it,
better
man.
way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Riding Shotgun with Tommy Mack, myself, and Daniel Murph. Murph, great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Tommy.
Again. Thank you for being here, man.
That's gonna be
you
some
trust
good
me
talk.
driving around this beautiful, badass car. man.
Hell yeah, this thing?
Unbelievable.
Well, this is he said a big race car, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is exactly what this is. Jimmy said it was a big race car.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being here. Lots to get into in a short period of time, but always baseball, I saw, from an early age. You were swinging the bat. Was that your dad put a bat in your hand? Did you see somebody else? Were you watching TV? How did that all come to start?
Hitting a baseball always felt like play to me. And so, running, defense, all the other stuff didn't feel as much like play as hitting did. So I like the other sports. Like I played soccer growing up. My dad liked basketball, huge Kentucky Wildcats basketball fan.
Okay.
So I like the other sports, but something about squaring that baseball up that...
All right, so always baseball. Did it come natural to you, like swinging? You're a lefty swinger. Like, was that just something that you?
So I did pick it up
easy?
left-handed the first time, and it's a story my mom tells with my dad. Is I think my mom may have gone to change because my mom likes to play, and she played softball growing up, church league softball, and she was a right-handed hitter. And I think I grabbed it left-handed, and she went to change my hands, and not for any particular reason, but the old man said just don't mess with him. Yeah. I ended up being a left-handed hitter.
Wow.
Just kind of by happenstance.
So T-ball, did it start there, or what were we talking? Like, were you that young?
I started playing when I was 5, and I guess some of the best memories I have are with my dad throwing to me, and I would hit until he would stop throwing.
Okay.
And he wouldn't stop throwing until I asked, and I never asked.
Okay.
So it's kind of one of those situations, and like my dad had his own lawn maintenance company, so he knew what it looked like to put in a shift. So I took some of, I would say, that kind of blue collar workmanship from him, and now I did work with him a little bit over the summer when I was a teenager out in this heat cutting grass, and I thought, I never want to do this for an extended period of time.
Rather play baseball.
So I kind of
smell
took
the grass, just not cut it.
I took his temperament for willing to put in a shift and kind of transitioned it to baseball. I was like, if I'm going to put in some work, I'd much rather be hitting this baseball.
Any other sports growing up that you played? Did you play hoops or football or anything?
Played soccer, organized soccer, and then out sandlotting football, nothing organized. I didn't like to get tackled.
Makes sense.
You guys in your football, y'all like to get close to each other and put your mitts on each other. I prefer my adversary to be 60 feet away from me, hurling stuff at me, like little, not too awful close. And then I loved playing basketball, pick up football, just a bit of everything.
Out of Englewood High School, local. fantastic. Brett Myers, Rasheed Mathis. When you guys got some ball players coming out of Inglewood. Tell me about Terry Alexander at JU. I know he was a coach of yours.
Well, so TA there, everything you see at JU right now, like the stadium, the lights, everything, TA did all the groundwork for that. Wow. And so he was such a wonderful head coach for the program.
Yep.
To get it built up, to try and keep up with these schools, because we're just a small school.
Absolutely.
There's only 3,000 students, and so to go up there and have the stadium on the river with the seats and the lights, and it's a really nice setup. And I'm biased, but I think the reason that we're better than most of the rest of the country at baseball is because the weather's so good here, and so
makes sense.
to be able to stay here at home and keep being able to ball was right down the street from my family. So I went there. My brother went to school at JU as well too. He balled there and then played professionally. So
cool.
Yeah, we love JU.
Did you hear that engine rev? That's pretty sweet. No doubt about that. When did you know you had a shot at the pros? Did you know before college or while you were in college?
So with the way baseball works, I got drafted out of college. Yeah. I went to Inglewood, and then 3 years at JU. You can get drafted out of high school. I wasn't good enough. So Brett did. So Brett got drafted.
Right.
He went seventh overall out of Inglewood.
Wow.
I went to JU for 3 years, and then got drafted in the 13th round.
Okay.
And I had had enough of school. I wanted to go play. Now, so I'm technically a professional when I signed, but now the idea of actually playing in the big leagues, that I think I had a chance to do that, would have been, another year and a half or so, where I thought that this may be a thing.
Okay.
When I signed to play professionally, I didn't think I would play in the big leagues necessarily. No. I didn't think so.
You didn't think you'd get up there? Mm-hmm. Well, you went from AA, and I read where you went to AAA for 1 day, but then somebody got hurt.
Yeah,
and
so
you got called up right away.
Yeah, look at you. Thank you for looking that up. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
so kind of a funny story. I got called from Binghamton, New York, to New Orleans to play with the AAA team.
Saw that.
And at the time, I didn't know anything. I just thought, I'm going to New Orleans and I'll be there rest of the season, to be honest with you. What had happened was Marlon Anderson was in the big leagues with the Mets, and they weren't sure if they were going to have to put him on the shelf.
Okay.
All right. And so while they were trying to figure it out, they wanted to get someone closer that they may call up from Binghamton. The team was in Houston.
Okay.
And so New Orleans was closer. So they called me up to AAA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I think, like I said, I'm just going to be here for the rest of the season.
Work out your game.
Maybe next camp they'll invite me to the big boys, and I'll get to show what I have.
Okay.
And spent 1 game there, went 1 for 4 with the single, didn't do anything of memory.
Okay.
And got called into the skipper's office. He told me I was going to the big leagues.
No kidding.
Couldn't believe it. Roy Oswalt was on the menu the next day for the Astros. That's who I was facing.
Wow, and you hit him.
Got a base hit my first at bat.
I saw that. That's incredible.
It would be now it would be a base hit because we can't shift in baseball anymore.
Okay.
But towards the end of my career, it would have been an out without a doubt. But they didn't shift back then, so I dribbled it right into right field.
Okay.
On a curveball from Roy Oswalt.
A hit's a hit, right?
Oh, Daniel. They don't draw pictures on it.
That's right.
I have to. Yeah.
That's right.
I have to tell you how bad it was now. It's a knock in the book.
That's great. All right, so take me inside. I'll get into the when you're with the Mets and whatnot in the World Series, but you're standing across 60 feet or whatever it is, 60 feet from guys that are all shapes and sizes that throw ridiculously fast baseballs at you. It can move all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, when do you pick it up? Do you ever pick it up, or do you study the pickup? Is it an educated guess when you take the swat, or do you see that ball
swat.
all the way in?
That. The swat.
Well, you're talking about Babe Ruth. His movie was on TV when I was leaving the door. The king of SWAT, right?
It was going to waffle that thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Give it a nice slash. So I would say to that question, the answer is yes to all of it. Because, when do I start thinking about the pitcher? I start thinking about him the night before. That specific pitcher.
Okay.
So I would watch his video, and then as I went to bed, I would, in my mind, I would picture the ball coming out of his hand where I wanted it, and then it finishing where I wanted it. Because I feel like you were on defense, but just because you're on defense doesn't mean you can't be anticipatory.
No, right?
Now,
absolutely.
I'm on offense.
Right.
Now the unique thing about baseball is I don't get to go first. The pitcher gets to initiate our dance.
Right.
But the price that the pitcher pays for going first is he don't get to go last. And there's a smaller place he has to go.
Right.
So he has to hit the wickets. He has to hit the strike zone.
Okay.
So Ted Williams asked Roger Hornsby, who's Roger Hornsby might be the greatest right-handed hitter of all time.
Okay.
He said, "What's it take to be a great hitter?" And he said, "Get you a good ball to hit." Well, if I get a good ball to hit, I know exactly where the pitcher has to go.
Okay.
And it's a smaller area than I get to go, because I get to hit it out there.
Right.
All the way into the field.
Right.
And so if I know where he has to go, then I can, in theory, I can start swinging kind of whenever I want it. I can start swinging right when he throws it. You know, when I mean swinging, I don't mean physically taking my swing. I mean anticipating, like, I can be ready to hit. So it's like when you go to loose your arrow, it's like the arrow is always kind of ready to be loosed. And then when your eyes say yes, you just loose it. And so, you know, there's this, I heard this story before, like Chinese horsemen, they didn't try to hit the target, they were one with the target. Okay. So they're always kind of ready. And so...
Kind of like an anticipated throw in football, right? You throw it to a spot almost.
And I'll kind of explain it this way. If the pitcher threw me a fastball out of his hand and it started where I wanted, like out of his hand, then I would go.
Okay.
I wouldn't wait to see if it was going to do what I wanted. All that work hopefully has already been done.
Okay.
If the ball starts right here, I'm gone.
Is that where you're looking at every pitch, or does it depend on the pitcher?
It depends on the pitcher. I wanted the ball, when I was my most productive, close to me.
Okay.
Because the closer I got it, the easier I could pull it.
Okay.
So think of, like, you golf at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, if you're a golfer, if you in golf you have a fade and a draw.
Right.
All right. So the draw is harder than the fade. It's hit harder. The ball is going to have more velocity to it.
Okay.
All right. So in baseball, I can hit the draw, and if I pull it, I take the shortcut. So I can hit it harder and take a shorter distance to get my reward, or I can hit the fade, which isn't hit as hard, and then I take on the big carry because center field's further away.
Okay.
So like Babe Ruth looked at Lou Gehrig and pointed at that short porch that we're about to watch in the World Series over the next week and say, you'd be a fool not to do a bit of shooting down that right field line. You get to pick. Like once the pitch ball is thrown, well, I can hit the sucker wherever I want to. So as long as I can hopefully beat the first line of defense, that's what I view the infielders as. If I can beat the first line of defense, then I can now play against the outfielders. There's only 3 of them, and they have more space to cover.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, you make it sound so easy, but I get it. It's like, but you're really confident in your swing. You have to be, right? That you see that ball, it's going to be in your spot. Maybe you see it coming off the hand. Maybe you see it on its way in, but you're unleashing and you're going to hit that. You're going to make contact.
We're going to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What starts first? The hips, the hands, the shoulder? What's the first movement, do you think? Or is it all 3 simultaneously?
I would think of it like a med-pal toss.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is a full body sort of thing. So when I watch my boys hit, my oldest Noah is 11, and then my youngest son Drew, the youngest one is 2. Then the third one is he's about to turn 7.
Cool.
But they hurl themselves at the ball, and so like
they
that's
attack the ball.
Yeah, and so. If you can be accurate, then you can get your entire body into the hit that way. Now, I would say, is it more difficult to be accurate hurling your entire self at the ball and then as opposed to just trying to be like a choke hitter where you just make contact?
Right.
Maybe, but I would, instead of throwing a smaller punch, I would just encourage a child or myself to practice throwing big punches all the time.
Okay.
And get more accurate that way. So it's like Mike Tyson. Like, should we encourage Mike Tyson to learn his jab or get more accurate with his haymakers?
Right.
Like, yeah, you can have the jab.
Yeah.
Sometimes the scoreboard says, jab. But most of the time that sucker says throw a haymaker.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? So
throw the bomb.
Yeah.
Not the bomb.
That's
absolutely.
The haymaker is the kill shot.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you say that. So when I was in like Little League, I couldn't hit for whatever reason, and I was getting upset. And my dad, my old school dad, he pulled me aside. He said, you got to get mad at the ball. Now, he never played baseball.
Yeah.
He played football. He's like, get mad at the ball, Tom. I said, get mad at it? He's like, just get mad at that ball. Knock the living crap out of it. Next bat up, I did. I growled at that thing, whack, and hit like a single. And it was like the greatest moment, get mad at the ball. Attack the ball.
Yeah.
Not afraid of the ball. I love it. You got to have that mentality.
Well, then I think what your dad is doing in his wisdom of being on this earth for as long as he was is like, attend to the baseball. However it is, and to speak your language at that time is like, bust this thing up, like get mad at it. But I think the biggest thing you got to do is like, look at this thing, like watch it and then sock it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, take us back to 2015 and when you're on your tear with the Mets, you're in the NLCS, you're the MVP, you're hitting home runs. It sounds like you were in a great rhythm.
Yeah.
A lot of confidence. Just felt great at the plate. Tell me about it, if you can.
So I would say one of the things kind of taking and maybe a little bit of a step back, my unique skill in baseball, I didn't have many, but one of was I was really accurate.
Okay.
So I love to hit baseballs, and one of the things I got from hitting all these baseballs is I'm pretty accurate. Like I can put a stick on a stone.
Okay.
That's kind of my thing.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I got that year we had 2 new hitting coaches, Kevin Long and Pat Rossler.
I've read about him.
And so what K Long did, I would say, is he basically he took the shackles off of me.
Okay.
And so when I was hitting that year with Kevin, the way I used to hit was I would just try to hit, like, make sure I'm accurate, hit the ball low, don't take many chances. Don't throw too many haymakers, because if you throw too many haymakers, you'll be more inaccurate.
Hit the ball low. Does that mean like swing down on the ball?
Yeah, it could be. Okay. You know what I mean? Just I don't think of my swing, I don't think of too much in terms of mechanics, because I'm a technician by temperament, and so I'll get bogged down in that. I've had to teach myself how to be like a hippie. So I think of it in terms of ball flight.
Okay.
So I would want to hit the ball, head high, with the infielders.
Okay, gotcha.
And then Kevin came to me and was like, all right, you're your most productive when you pull the ball in the air to right center field.
Okay.
All your damage is there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get closer to the plate, which means I'm going to get closer to the ball that's coming in.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we can get out. You can get out of the way.
You can?
Yeah, you can get out of the way.
Guys get hit in the head all the time, it seems.
Yeah, we have on iron helmets, though. They used to wear a felt cap.
I love the old school. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Well, they used to wear used to wear a cap.
No, right. No.
That I have on right now.
Right,
so,
right.
And those guys weren't throwing like 60. They were still.
Right.
Yeah, nice. I like this.
There we go. Back on the track.
And
first time with Brett, by the way, I went the other way.
Did you?
Yeah. They were all stopped, so we were 5, but he's like, whoa! It was pretty funny.
Take a picture of the whole city. I like it.
Yeah.
So what K-Long did is, he just gave me the freedom to go out there and really express myself.
Okay.
It's kind of like, if you're going to be accurate, and you are, why don't we try to be accurate in like right center field, or possibly over the right fielder's head instead of in front of him.
Okay.
And so instead of playing a game against the infielders, I started trying to play my game against just the outfielders. Okay. More specifically, like the right fielder.
Trying to hit to them or over their head.
If I hit the ball and I play against the right fielder over the course of a full season, I'm going to win.
Okay.
There's too much space for him to cover, and there's only one of them.
Okay.
But if you look at the infielders, there's 5 of them if you count the pitcher, and then you got the sneaky sucker behind you, the catcher. So there's 6 people in a really small amount of space.
Yep.
Play against the outfitters. That's what I tell our boys in the little leagues, guys. It's like, just pick your favorite outfielder. So that's what K-Long told me. It was like, let's go out here and try to basically like redline this thing.
Now,
like,
when
really
you're closer to the plate, do you have to be even quicker with your swing?
What it did is it forced me to have some intent, because when I would look down, I would look and see that the plate's right there. So like that means that there's going to be strikes that are going to be coming in here hot. You better be ready to go.
Okay.
And so it gave me kind of this intent. Like when your dad's talking about attack, that's the mindset it took me in, as opposed to make sure you see the ball and you're accurate with it. And it's more like, nah, like we're just gonna go.
Okay. So what's it like hitting bombs in the NLCS? Is it glorious?
Yeah.
It's like a big hit in football. Like for me, would it be like a interception return for a touchdown in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it would
Something
be.
like that.
Well,
like that's massive.
So like I think of it in terms of you go and you formulate your game plan against that day's pitcher. You know what I mean? And let's say it's
so you guys really study the pitchers a lot.
Yeah. Like this is a dance. You know what I mean? And so like if we were talking about Tyson earlier, like I feel like Tyson has to pull you in so close that he can almost whisper in your ear before he lays you out. And that's how close I wanted to get to the pitcher. I want him close to me.
Okay.
So close. And so if he's close, now I can throw my haymakers and I can really get him off. Now, the thing about that is Tyson had to take a couple hits on the way in there too.
That's right.
All right, we get knocked down. Maybe you take a bullet a time or two, but it's better for me to get my reward if I can get you close.
Right.
And so you go in there and you formulate your plan, and you're like, if the ball starts here, I'm not second guessing myself. I'm not waiting to see if it's going to do what it's going to do, what I think. It's just going to do it. And so when my eyes said yes to go, my body just listened.
You had to be seeing it real clear.
Yeah.
Like, just for whatever reason. Like, but maybe that was your gift from the beginning, being able to see that ball come in, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's from seeing so many balls. Like I have so much gratitude from like my dad over and over throwing to me.
Yeah, sure.
And then when I played, I would play summer ball. You know what I mean, in college as well. And I had all these at bats, and it kind of just culminated in this couple week stretch where, when my eyes told my body to do something, like my body did exactly what I wanted it to. And that, you know, that's don't happen that often.
No,
so you just try to ride the wave.
Ride it, yeah. It's kind of I mean, I can't speak for that, but getting in a rhythm, that confidence, like, you know, college football games, getting a rhythm, making tackles. Next thing you know, you got 22 tackles, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that rhythm, that just flow, you know,
like
I guess.
each game has its own kind of heartbeat and pulse to it. And so can you kind of,
so cool.
for me, I was thinking, can I slither up in this ball game and find the pulse of it and see if I can do something for my ball club to win?
Yeah.
And usually that may be something simple and make a play on defense, move a guy over, get a hit. But like, you know, sometimes you can just take the whole damn thing over.
All right, favorite home run that you hit? Can you name one?
Ever, or from that
just
postseason?
Whatever.
Yeah, let's go from that one. Probably I hit a home run off of Jake Arrieta on a curve that was down and in. And this one I really just wrapped it around the pole. Like I took about the biggest shortcut you could possibly take. I think the percentages on that ball of being hit a home run and how I hit it, it's like 4%. Like it just doesn't happen. It's usually an out. But sometimes you take the shortcut and you get a reward. So that one was fun because. So I got a good friend of mine, Steve Barningham, who signed me as a scout with the Mets, and so he was with my family and I on this, and he's like, at the end of the game, he goes, "How did you hit that out?" And I was like, I told him, I thought he might throw me a curve right there. And he goes, "I don't care if he whispered it in your ear, like that ball's not supposed to end up kind of out of the ballpark."
Right.
So I was like, oh, I guess that was a pretty good swing right there. And so that was that one, and probably because that was as loud as I probably heard Citi Field almost get.
Nice.
The crowd really.
That had to be hyped. All right, the toughest pitcher. Who was the toughest guy to go against?
All right, so this will be good because I'll be able to tell you with Josh Hader, and then send anyone who's listening to the X Machine that Elon Musk is now. I have an at bat against Josh Hader, and what they did is they took the scene from Replacements where David Spade has the sword, and he's like chopping it down, and they're telling him that's not a sword, and he's like, "You're not a sword," and so that's what the at bat looked like. It was a tough one. Like it was 2018 with the Cubs, and we were facing the Brewers in a day game in Chicago, and I just got this feeling that like this isn't going to go very well. So I went in there, I called a hit and run on myself, which basically means like I'm just going to swing and hope I can figure it out on the way there. I fouled the ball off, and then he threw like 2 fastballs right by me and made me look somewhat childish, but it happens. The other guys get paid too.
Yeah, well, absolutely. No doubt about it. Favorite stadium to play in?
Chicago, Wrigley Field.
Yeah. You know, I'm from the northwest suburbs of Chicago, so the Cubs were our team.
Oh, I loved going there.
Wrigley's awesome.
I love going there.
I walked through they gave us a little tour once and got out to the dugout and everything. It was magical.
Well, it's like, really so I've been doing baseball kind of from like 1900 to 1940 lately as well, and so like to just learn the history of the Cubs, and then I didn't know it at the time, but like the Cubs and the New York Giants, who were the National League team with the Brooklyn Dodgers, like they hated each other. So in 2015, when we hooked up with Chicago with the Mets, this was like a rivalry, New York-Chicago in the National League that had gone back 115 years, and so I'm learning more about that now than I even knew at the time. So I love
That's
Wrigley.
So cool. All right, so a few years back, I had this thing called Suck It Up. It was like, look in the mirror, take care of your business. If you're in a spot that you don't like being in, look in the mirror first and dig yourself out. Get help and whatever, but it's up to you to do it. I want to bring it back to this show because every athlete, every entertainer, every musician, there's always, and pretty much every person, everybody goes through a moment where you got to dig deep and you got to find a way to figure it out. Is there a suck it up moment for Daniel Murphy in your lifetime?
I would say I look back in 2011. I end up making the ball club. The year before, I had gotten hurt and didn't spend any time in the major leagues at all. So 2010 is like a lost season for me.
Okay.
Went and played winter ball and got ready for the 2011 season. And it'd probably be about maybe two and a half months in the season. I'm not playing every day, and when I do play, I'm unproductive.
Okay.
And I'm getting this feeling like I'm gonna get fired, and this is gonna be it. Like this is, as things are going right now, this isn't gonna be able to continue working.
Right.
So it's kind of to your point. I was like, if I keep conducting myself this way, I'm not gonna get what I want, which is to stay in the big leagues. And so I just kind of made this drastic swing overhaul, which I just did on the fly, and it was one of those moments where, like, if you don't like the results, you
go back.
Yeah, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. But also, I wouldn't say that I'm brave, but it also takes a bit of courage to step into the unknown, because I had some success doing it the old way in the big leagues and hitting. But at the time, I was like, this ain't working.
Yep.
And I ended up making this kind of overhaul swing adjustment, and praise be to Jesus, I had some success with it early, which is like, there's nothing greater than making some adjustment or trying something new and then immediately getting some positive reinforcement.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and so I started and then from there, was it really the swing adjustment, or did I get a base hit or two and convince myself that, okay, maybe I'm not the worst hitter on the planet?
No, right.
The chicken or the egg sort of thing.
Okay.
And I would say that was one of the big moments in my career, just that willingness, I would say, to take in outside information and be willing to change, because I'm super stubborn by temperament.
Absolutely.
Like it can help me because not everybody I come in contact with is a genius, and even more so a genius in baseball. And that's not to say I am by any stretch, but I'll end up somewhat not listening to people properly because of how stubborn I am.
All right, so 2023, you try to make a comeback.
Yeah, went bald again.
Legit. Try to make a comeback.
Yeah, I tried to get to the show.
Is it out of your system now? Was that to get it out of your system?
It was. So like
I get it.
The way my brain works is, if I see what I perceive as a market inefficiency, now I want to take advantage of it.
Okay.
And so when I started watching ball again, and I started watching like Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Mel Ott and Hank Aaron and Willie Mays move, I'm like, these guys don't move like me, but they move like my son. And so I go, all right, this is on to something. So I did another swing change, completely overhauled it.
Wow.
And as I was
like
doing
golf.
well,
I didn't know you guys did that kind of stuff.
Well, golfers have all sorts of different shots. Why can't a baseball player?
No, right. I get it. It was just like, I didn't know you guys did that. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're getting. And so as I was doing that, I have what I would call like a shot clock in my head, in my being. Hit it. And as I was hitting off the tee, and I started hitting front toss and having people throw batting practice to me, I was like, back to that Ted Williams, Roger Hornsby conversation, I was like, I'm picking good balls to hit. And the thing about baseball and being a batsman, like a hitter, is if you choose good balls to hit, you got a chance. And so as I was doing, I go, I think I'm going to need to play again. Because my shot clock is going and telling me, you can go and get some at-bats somewhere professionally. So I tried to get into spring training with one of the affiliated clubs, the Mets or any of them. And every single one of them believed me when I said that I was done after 2020. None of them wanted to bring me in. But I ended up going deep into the bushes in independent ball in New York. Played for an old skipper of mine, Wally Backman. And kind of started trying all this stuff out. I really was honestly playing like I was, like a guy was in the 1920s. Like I'm using a giant bat, doing this backswing. Everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy, because I am a little bit. And played pretty well there and get a job in AAA. And that was, I was there with the Angels for 2 months. And that was exactly where I was supposed to be. Like, I wasn't fast enough to go to the next level.
Is that what drops?
What's that?
What diminishes as a baseball player when you're hitting?
Yeah, so Hans Lobert, who played in like 1905 to 1915, said, first your legs go, then your eyes. And I would agree with that. Well, I would get out there to stretch out with these 20, I forgot how strong they are. And I don't mean strong like lifting weight, I mean just being able to like go out and stretch out and get ready for a ball game and be bouncing around. Because like I would go out there and have to get ready for a game at 7. And like, I'm old. I got a knee surgery on here, and I'm doing the most crooked circles you got going. And these 27-year-olds are like they're ready to rock.
Right.
You know, they're swinging this bat as fast as they can, and I'm kind of easing into it like an old man into a warm bath, knowing we ain't got to be ready till 7.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing, was just physically my body didn't recover the way it used to, and then it would also been the price to pay for taking 2 years off. You know, nothing's free in this world.
No, right. Yeah, you get a little rust, got to shake the rust off.
No.
All right, I know you have young kids playing. Any advice to young ball players out there and parents that may be, pushing them a little bit too much, if you know what I mean?
I would say, parents, enjoy your child's play.
Yep.
Enjoy it.
Yep.
I would observe and just enjoy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't have to impart yourself. Children know they're supposed to look at the ball. They're smart. They know how to do sticks and stones. And for kids, if they have the freedom to express themselves, baseball is as American a game as they come. We created this.
Yeah.
And so I think that, and then just make fun games. So I started running the bases backwards, tried to turn myself into a lefty. I hit right-handed. I started throwing left-handed. Just play.
Yeah.
Like there's no wrong answers.
Right.
Just play, experiment, create, be curious.
I would say, if I may add, because I just see it from the outside, but because my girls are all in dance, I guess I see a little bit with dance, but look, where they go in life with it will all work itself out. Because how they are in 6th grade doesn't mean it's going to be the same in 11th. People change.
Yeah.
Kids change. We all hit our stride at different times. Just soak it all in, have a good time, let them play and have fun. And listen, if they're going to make the majors will find them, right? If they're going to make the NFL, the NFL will find you. Like, if you got to have the goods, you got to work at it, but that part will all work itself.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it's fun, then you'll choose to do it more voluntarily. And if you want to play in the NFL or the big leagues or go and, dance on Broadway, it's better to show up to work voluntarily, because then it doesn't feel like I said, hitting never felt like work to me.
Yeah,
Defense felt like work. That's why I didn't do it as much.
No, right. I did read a quote where you said you were at JU, and they were asking you what position you to play. You're like, I'm batting third.
I bat third.
Yeah,
18-year-old when they were seniors.
I like
it's
it,
full of hubris. Yeah,
that's great.
I knew I didn't swing and miss.
Absolutely. All right, so you're broadcasting now. We're going to wrap it up with that. You're broadcasting now. I know you're on 1010XL with our friends Dan and Jeff. You do a great job of that, doing that. Any coaching in your future? Would you?
I mean, I coached the boys, so I got the 11U Blue Claws, and then our 6-year-old Drew. The idea of going to coach sounds like a ton of fun professionally. It's just you end up having to bolt for 8 months.
It's a grind.
You're like a gypsy.
And
I don't mind being a gypsy when the whole family's doing it, but once you come back and settle in, but the idea of going on a campaign with a group of people to try to win a world championship is that's very appealing to me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man, big
Thank
time.
You.
Daniel, that was so much fun taking us inside all that stuff. Hey, before we wrap up, I'm wearing pink for a reason. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My mother is a survivor back in 2005 area, and she's still rocking and rolling. So to all the women out there, all the people out there that deal with any kind of cancer, especially breast cancer during this month, we just want to say our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. All right, that'll do it for us this time around. What a fantastic car. This thing, oh my gosh, I tell you what, CT5V. Black Link, I think it's called. Black Wing, it's called, and it is absolutely incredible. All right, till next time, stay safe out there and be cool. We'll see you right here on Riding Shotgun with Tommy Mack.
Nice.
Good job.
That's good ball talk, man.
That was fun.
Yeah,
it was cool.
That was great. I had a blast, and your job is tougher than it looks.
Yeah.
So keep it moving.
Well, that one turn is.
I can see that. Well, I tried to point you in the wrong direction as well too.
Yeah, that's where I went the last time. All right, we're good.
That was great.
That was cool. Good job, dude. So much fun.
Good ball talk.
I love talking about that stuff because I don't know. I could guess, but what the hell do I know?
So when I think of baseball, when I think of strength, I think of strength
Yeah, cut.
is being able to maintain position. So if you're playing